There is a library at the far edge of night where doors remember the hands that closed them. The hinges do not creak. They sigh, as if relieved to be included in a quieter world. In that library the shelves run farther than footsteps, and the books do not have titles, only temperatures, cool grief, warm joy, the soft weather of things we meant to feel and did not. This is where forgotten dreams are kept until morning has enough gentleness to carry them home. The keeper walks there without footfall. If you listened for footsteps, you would hear your own breath instead, becoming slower, like a river learning its bed. The keeper's robe is not cloth but shadow trained to be kind. It carries the faint scent of cedar and late rain. When the keeper lifts a hand, dust motes align into constellations and then go on being dust, unafraid. She slash, he slash, they, no word sticks, moves with the practiced devotion of a candle that remembers the first match. Tonight the lamps brighten when the keeper passes. It means a heavy hour is approaching, a tide of sleep that must carry many small boats. The keeper pauses at the desk made of dark wood that once rested in a monastery scriptorium beside a bell that rang for matins. On the desk lies a ledger that no one writes in and yet is always up to date. It lists the names of those who have misplaced their dreams. The night shift nurse who forgot her meadow, the musician who set down a melody at the station and boarded the train without it, the child who let go of a sky-sized kite and remembered only the string. The keeper traces a finger along the columns. "We will bring them back," the voice says, gentle as felted light. The library hums in assent. A high window opens by itself the way eyelids open in a room that is already kind. Outside, the city is quieting. Night gathers on roofs and tucks itself into gutters, becoming small rivers of darkness that shine when the moon looks down. The keeper lights the lantern of tempered amber, one that brightens the edges of things rather than the centers. Then the keeper lifts from a shelf a box made of sleepwood. It opens on a hinge of silence, and inside lie the tools of retrieval. A spool of silver thread that never snags, a seashell that remembers every lullaby ever sung near water, a feather from a bird that turns fear into soft weather. These are the instruments by which forgetting is persuaded back into kindness. First, the keeper tells the lantern, "We will visit the child." The library door yields like a slow tide. The hall beyond is not the hall of any building, but a corridor that runs through the middle of night, connecting sleeping rooms with the rooms beneath them. The rooms where dreams wait, hat in hand, hoping to be remembered. The keeper walks there and 1,000 door frames exhale. A small door appears ahead, painted the blue of an afternoon that learned how to be patient. The keeper knocks without knocking, and the latch answers with a click that means welcome. Within, a child sleeps on their side with their hands under their cheek, as if holding their own breath. On the floor, a kite string lies coiled, its end pointing to the window where the sky is folded like a letter no one read yet. The keeper unties a length of the silver thread and fastens it to the kite string with a knot that knows how to forgive. The other end of the thread is tied around the lantern's handle. "We will go after it together," the keeper whispers. The window opens. A breeze comes in that smells like linen and bread and the kind of summer that is only partly real because it was loved too much to stay. The thread lifts, becomes a path, and the keeper steps onto it, weightless as a thought the mind forgot to doubt. They rise into the hushed sky of neighborhood roofs. Each roof keeps its own small weather. a puddle that keeps stars, a pigeon speaking privately to its shadow, a cat who has learned to walk like a rumor. The thread shines like a stream under moonlight. Far ahead, a kite moves, no cloth, only shape, a geometry of longing. It pulls gently, as if not wanting to be too much trouble, which is how most lost things behave when someone finally comes looking kindly. The keeper follows past the radio tower where songs are folded into air and sent like letters to rooms that have not learned the addresses of their own hearts. The lantern adds a warmth to the wind that turns it from brisk to companionable. At the park, swings hang with patience. The kite rises higher. It knows the places where sky remembers being water. It leads the keeper to the edge of the city where the dark is wider but no less friendly. There, on the last hill, the kite pauses. The silver thread trembles. The keeper reaches, not to seize, but to offer a hand. "You were meant for joy," the keeper says. "It does not harm you to come home." The geometry softens. The kite folds itself, becoming a light that looks like a memory of running on spring legs. The keeper tucks it into the lantern. It will be a dream again when it is lowered back into the room like a boat back into a river that has learned its name. They return along roofs now scented with rain on tomorrow's schedule. In the child's room, the lantern's light pours into the kite string, and the dream takes shape. A field, a sky, a laughter that does not need witnesses. The child smiles in sleep. The body forgives the day. Back in the corridor, the ledger's ink warms without being touched. The nurse, the pages suggest. She has misplaced a meadow. The keeper nods. Hospitals have their own weather. Fluorescent noon at midnight, footsteps that learn to be gentler than fear, curtains that try their best. The corridor bends and becomes a hallway where doors carry numbers and small windows. At a bench beneath a tree in the courtyard, a tree that has learned to learn, the nurse sits with eyes closed for a span between tasks. The keeper lifts the seashell. Ocean arrives in the courtyard without water. The smell of salt is memory, not air. The wind is not wind but home. The nurse hears the smallest wave fold and unfold. The hands unclench. The jaw remembers not to hold the world. The keeper reaches into the pocket of the coat draped over the bench and finds a folded scrap. A few lines, a true one among them. "You are not the only candle here." The line is smoothed with the keeper's palm. The meadow forms, not a field of flowers but a space in the body where there is room for 2 breaths in a row. The nurse opens her eyes. They do not know why it is possible to go back inside, but it is. The ledger's next line brightens. The musician at the station. The keeper knows the station already, the way a bell knows echoes it has not yet heard. Trains breathe in and out. Timetables attempt prophecy. The musician hums into a scarf and taps a rhythm on a paper cup. The melody, embarrassed by its own beauty, has hidden in the ironwork above the platform, hanging like a thought someone meant to think later. The feather is for fear weather. The keeper brushes the air above the musician's head. The rhythm stops pretending to be casual. It looks at itself and, kindly encouraged, drops into the musician's pocket like a note from an old friend. The train arrives. When it leaves, the song goes with it, already on its way to being played for a room that needs it without knowing. The keeper returns to the corridor and closes the lantern. The silver thread coils obediently. The seashell cools. The feather weighs as much as a promise kept. The library door sighs. On the desk, the ledger darkens its ink and loosens its spine, as if relaxing after having kept itself upright too long. In the high vault of the library a soft bell rings. No clapper, only intention. It means that night is getting ready to hand the world back to morning. The keeper walks to the far aisle where the oldest shelves stand. Boards planed by hands that believed in sanding more than necessary because the wood would remember gratitude. Here are kept the dreams that resisted being dreamed, dreams that were left on thresholds, that waited on stoops, that got into the right elevator but pressed the wrong floor. They are not broken. They are shy. The keeper kneels. I know, the voice says. It is hard to be a guest in a mind with so much noise. A book opens by itself. A house with many lamps. A path with a dependable pebble at its turn. A voice telling a story whose ending is not a victory but a homecoming. Tomorrow, the keeper promises the shy ones, we will try again. I will walk with you to the edge and leave you there with a hand on your back and a blessing in your hair. It will be enough. The lamps dim by one sigh. The library breathes the last deep breath before sleep becomes steady. The lantern's light folds like a blanket. Outside, the roofs keep their gentle weather. Inside, the ledger closes without a snap. The keeper leans back in the chair and lets night rest its head on their shoulder. If you wake now and wonder why your jaw is softer, why the window is a friend, why the bed has become a small boat on a wide, calm lake, it is because the keeper has been walking. Forgotten dreams have been returned, not with fanfare, but the way a mother closes a door after checking a child. Quietly, with a palm kept on the wood one extra heartbeat. Sleep now. The library is open, and the lantern is patient. Thank you for listening to Sleep with Myth.